How sad is it that this was a farmer's property? What are we gonna do when there's no farmland left? Build farm factories, food factories? Sometimes I would like to do something, but really, everyone has a choice. So I can't stop people from choosing. I wouldn't. But what are we gonna do without farm fields? And speaking about London specifically, as developers get so god-awfully rich, insanely wealthy, what does that mean? So they can just buy property and either build investments or a mansion like the one I was just working on. And who are these investors? Who are these developers? Were they born and raised in this city? And now anyone that's been born and raised in this city, do they care about this city? Does being born and raised in a city matter anymore? Does anything really have importance other than development, wealth, advancement, progression? And what is a civilization? I know there's like 5 tenets of civilization, but were those 5 things really required, or are those kind of just like nice sky? So I think one of the requirements of a civilization is buildings, but does that just mean using mortar, using bricks? What about, does that even include using stone? Does that mean building walls, having a territory? Didn't nations, people call them tribes, right? But aren't they nations? Didn't nations have longhouses? Didn't nations have clay huts? Don't nations still utilize these buildings? So I have to question, what is the purpose of luxury, of decadence, of excess? What is the purpose? Is it lust? Is it greed? Is it pride? Is it sloth? Are these sins in every religion in one way or another? Is it envy? Can someone envy another so much that they acquire indefinitely in comparison? Thought I saw a cop. Not supposed to be on my phone. Anyway, this is a city I was born and raised in, and it's really changed. So I guess this has turned into an episode of Driving with Kevin. So I don't have to go on forever, but I seem to be a drawn-on sentence. Unlike drawn-on eyebrows, I raise brows. Or maybe much like drawn-on eyebrows. Anyway, was this ever a good city? Are any of these civilizations good? If I had a time machine, when would I go back? I don't know, lots of times, I guess. But what was here? We're the forest city. But isn't that kind of just The slogan. I like that slogan, don't get me wrong. But how long will that last? We're planting new trees. But aren't these trees 30 years old? So how many trees do we have to plant when we cut down 400-year-old trees? And to be honest, I don't believe those trees are going to be there for 100 years. And people don't care about trees. Well, I do. So I started with farmland. And what do we do with this civilization that has farmland? Back to what I started with. How are we supposed to produce food? Is it like outsourcing labor? Importing food production? Importing food? And I don't like how I sound to people. But are we importing food grown in another country because of diversification? So we get the food that those people would eat where they're from, and now we're importing it so they can get that food. So do we not need farmland because we can't farm certain foods and people aren't eating those foods as much anymore? I don't know. Like, I'd inquire how impacted have pork farms and pork production been in this country? Call me what you want, but there's a lot of Muslims. And what about beef production? There's a lot of Hindus. So how has that altered our economy, this diversification? Can farmers not survive anymore? No one wants to eat meat because it's bad for the environment? Don't you think it's better for the environment to get food where you can drive to than ship food across the ocean? Ship food in trains and automobiles? Long distance food importation? Don't you think that's bad for the environment? Don't you think that causes emissions? People say cows are bad for the environment, but they'll drink almond milk. You know how much water is used for almond milk production? Almond milk isn't sustainable or good for the environment, but vegans love almond milk. So I guess I don't have a lot of friends because I'd rather befriend information. And a lot of people make relationships with influencers, but influencers don't know anything. Influencers just say things. And I guess I'm trying to be an influencer with this video, but I'd hope that I do more than just repeat information. And it seems that this city keeps developing and developing. What do we need to develop for? Why is it that we have another 60,000 people? And the question can be, where from? Permanent immigrants, foreign students, the GTA. Okay, how many people from the GTA are immigrants? But how many apartments do we need in this city? What's the point? Do people not have a limit? If we as Canadians didn't have kids because of population rates, couldn't we have adjusted our economy to that? Not increased the amount of people through immigration and ruin our economy anyway? if Canadians stopped reproducing at such a rate because of overpopulation and world issues, why are we rewarding the rest of the world by bringing their children here? The rest of the world didn't stop having kids. The rest of the world has more kids than ever before. So maybe it's too late for me. Maybe I'll never have a wife. Maybe I'll never have kids. Maybe all this is easy for me to talk about, to say. Maybe. But I'd have a kid. I just don't really find anyone that interesting. So I don't want to have a kid just to repopulate, and I don't really need to have a kid because there's so many people here. That's been rectified. And if we had to diversify to fix our population, what is a Canadian anymore? What does it mean to be Canadian? And what does it mean to be from London? Does it mean anything to be from London now? I don't know. I can't remember what being from London meant. But developers are getting rich. I don't know who that guy is that I just worked at, but who lives there. But he's a developer. Look at the place he's building. What's Farhi's place look like? Farhi buys all these places so that he can basically gather wealth to buy more places. And if we're going to have regulations on things, shouldn't we tighten the regulations on investment portfolios and capital investments or whatever? I don't know. I'm not a banker here. I'm not a real estate agent. But if we're going to regulate things like speed, and we're going to regulate things like alcohol consumption, don't you think we should regulate wealth a little better? And I don't know. Maybe all the rich people would leave the country. But look what rich people have done to the country. So is it any better or worse? And I don't know. Downtown doesn't make us money anymore because all these properties are boarded up by one guy or another. Farhi's just the main culprit. I don't know. But what are we supposed to do? None of us have the leverage and I don't like working with other people. So my point is, crowdfunding isn't going to work. Who's going to be in charge? And if you don't want to be in charge, I guarantee you don't want to give any money either. So I read recently that the population of London is projected to be 635,000 by 2050. Did you know that's like probably another 150,000 people in 20 years? And that's just projection. We just got another 50,000 people in the last 6 years based on permanent resident status and foreign students. And those regulations maybe are changing and it's going to slow down, but I don't see how 635 is enough. People have kids. And the people that got here have kids. Kids. People aren't going to start dying. Healthcare is better. Whatever. Is this all going to go away? Is that going to go away? Are we going to lose park space? And what do? Build houses, but we don't have schools? We're just going to go to the COVID model? At-home learning? Computer learning? Remote learning? Is that the future of learning? I'm an active person. What's going to happen to recess? What even happens at recess? So, I don't know. Do health complications increase as our physical activity decreases? I'd say that's likely. So yes, London is in dire need of housing. There's 7,500 people or 7,500 families on the housing wait list. I don't know. Let's just imagine for a minute that it's 7,500 families and a family has an average of 3 people. I'm not good at math. It's going to take me a minute. But it's at least, what is it, like 23,000 people? Is that right? I don't know. Anyways, I'm not good at math. I'm not going to get concerned with the numbers. But does that, if there's 7,500 families that need housing on the wait list, there's 22,000 people that don't have housing in this city? And we just brought 50,000 immigrants into the city? What do we care about in this city? I'm not saying immigrants are bad people. I'm just saying, like, what do we do for them? How many immigrants are on the wait list? How is that number drastically decrease? It won't. It'll drastically increase. And I don't know, should I talk about personal matters? So there's someone that just had another kid. Been on assistance as long as I know them. Should we gratify people like that? Should we support people like that? And it goes the other way too. Should we gratify and support people with excess wealth? Should we celebrate accumulation? Am I somewhere in the middle? I don't know. I think when I looked at my income, it said I was in poverty or low income. And low income's just another way to say in poverty, or low income's impoverished. So we come up with all these different words. You're low income. You mean I'm poor as fuck? Like, what's it? Is that just so you guys can talk about it at your city hall meetings? Anyways, there's like people below the poverty line. I guess they're low income now. And people that are impoverished. And impoverished people are starving. Isn't impoverished worse than poverty stricken? And I don't know, they sound the same. Poverty. So I don't know, maybe it's not different. But do we have to reward wealth? And do we have to reward... Oh, I wanted to go to that DQ. Something about free blizzards for a year or something. Anyway, I just don't think we should reward bad behavior. And I think accumulating such wealth is bad behavior. But society has always shamed poor people. So now we reward poor people with benefits. So I don't know, I guess I'm on the other end now. I must be in the shallow end. But are we rewarding poverty with benefits? Like, let's say someone has 3 kids by the age of 20 and they've been on welfare since they were 12. Is that something they learned? And we're going to reward that by giving them a house? We don't need to reward rich people. They reward themselves, I guess. But we reward rich people with tax havens, with tax loopholes, with regulations that serve wealth. That's a reward for a rich person. How are we going to accomplish this housing thing? How are we ever going to have enough housing without meeting the crises of population density? I don't know, Ferrera, is that how you say it? Some councillors just talked about upgrades to sewage lines. Well, I'm glad they did that. Now they can build all those houses. And let's just backstep for a second. Could we not develop downtown because the sewage wasn't adequate? Well, then we better start building the fuck out of houses downtown. We better start building the fuck out of everything downtown because the sewage lines are completed. So that all better get built now. But what happens? What happens when we have 30 vehicles to a road instead of 10 vehicles to a road? So are we just going to be in perpetual construction mode? Are we ever going to stop construction? Properties get smaller. Rentals have more people. And it's twofold. People wanted to... There's those loopholes where you can have as many people practically as you want in a building, and that means you pay your mortgage and make a profit, and other people can't even get a mortgage. They can't afford a house. And we have all these students. Well, are these students leaving? Is that going to cause a market crash? Now it's a buyer's market because everyone wants to get rid of their investment. Are we even building affordable housing? Are we just building market value apartments? Single bedroom, $1,600 or something? Oh, fire truck. There's a median, but I'm still gonna pull over. What do you mean? I don't know. I guess I don't need to pull over, but out of habit maybe. I gotta get a memory card. I only have 50 minutes on this phone. But that's 23 minutes of practical, nonsensical rambling, I guess. Oh, why don't you slow the fuck down, bud? Maybe on the next episode I'll talk about the influx of bad drivers. Does it coincide with the immigration rate? Anyway, I guess I'll leave it on that note.